6 days a week, 12-hour shifts.
You can always do something right, even if it's going wrong.
Is this what you want to do, or is there something else you would like to do?
Get a mentor. We live a life of abundance.
Welcome to the show, Coffee with Kunal. Today we have Jeff Ali here with us with Snap Lending. Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
So Jeff Ali is an entrepreneur by heart. Born and raised in Houston. His family's always been over here. But give him an opportunity and he'll find a way to make it better. Last 4 to 5 years,
Him and his business partner, Nick,
have been in the lending business. That's why Snap Lending comes in. But his story, how he's got to this point, is truly interesting. And two people inspired him the most. One is your dad.
My dad and my Uncle Sam,
Yeah.
my mentors, right? Everybody has a mentor that you turn to for advice and growth and inspiration. It's awesome. I had such a great set of mentors, and they still mentor me today through a lot of business tactics, opportunities, ideas. And they're always there for me. It's really nice to have them there.
Yeah. So his passion is very, very varied. He wanted to be a techie. He also has passion in music. He's been a music producer. So very interesting background. We want to learn all about Jeff today. Jeff, walk us through your journey of being a young kid in Houston and how you got to where you're at today.
I was born and raised here in Houston, Texas. My dad has been here for about 46, 47 years, give or take. Entrepreneur at heart. He always wanted to work for himself. He got to a point where he had an opportunity to purchase a property off of I-10 and turn it into an Exxon Mobil at the time. And this was in the early 70s. He was able to make that happen. He was a firm believer of wherever you go, you need to be very presentable, kind of like Kunal is today, where I don't feel I'm in my jeans and basic wear. So I did dress up. I put a jacket on, so I make sure I look like them today. So he always had a great relationship with his bankers across the where they lived at the time. Him and his brothers were all in a set of apartments off of Chimney Rock. He would go in and shake the banker's hand and make time to make contact with them and say hello and hi. So he made the deal for that property on his
Building partnership with all these people. Got it?
Yeah, with those people. He would keep making handshakes with them, and over time he would go in and then he would ask for this loan, and he grew to where he's at today. Multiple serial entrepreneur with a number of different businesses all over the place, and I was fortunate enough to try to take that to the next level, and that's kind of where we're at today.
So you're talking early on before we got on the show, you shared your dad is very inspirational, and he said 3 things to you. He said, always dress up better than you can imagine, even if you go into a grocery store.
Yeah, he goes to the grocery store, he looks, pleated pants, tucked in shirt, belt set, everything ready to go. He always wears a heavy amount of cologne. Sorry, Dad. And he does that for a number of reasons. It leaves a mark on somebody when you kind of leave, and I think I do that a lot, so sorry, guys. And then lastly, always try. You're going to be a failure regardless, right? If you try it and it fails, that's one thing, but you have to try. And if you don't try, you're already a failure.
Absolutely. So talk us about your daughter. She's 9 years old, and I've watched some of her videos on social media where she talks the real estate lingo. She talks about lending. She talks about closing disclosure. I mean, when I was 9 years old, guess what I was doing? Biking in the neighborhood, doing a whole lot of nothing. So talk to us about your daughter.
And stuff. So my daughter's 9. I'm just trying to teach her in a fun way that there's a lot more out there, and give her the opportunity to understand it all, and she can make her own decisions in life, what she wants to be later. She went to a summer camp and they taught her about architecture, and they drew some different plans and what have you. And then she came back, and at the time we were developing a new truck stop, and so I drew it out on a piece of paper, then I gave it to her, and so she used the ruler. She was 7.5 at the time. She used the ruler, and she went off of the markings and was able to create the scale. She drew the truck stop on the piece of paper, then gave it to my dad, who then with my dad, they went to the architect and designed it. So in her mind, she drew and created this concept for the store at 7.
Wow.
And from there, the light bulb went off. I want to be an architect. I want to be an architect. So from there, I started teaching her. She's 9 now, and she can tell you what a lease is, what square footage is, what a site plan is, what an elevation is, flood cert, plat, development. I mean, it's crazy. It's awesome.
She's young and she's getting inspired by your passion for real estate, and she's learning all the terminology. And I've watched some of her videos. You could be in an Uber sitting at the back, and he just goes spit off. You're like, hey,
Yeah,
tell
she
us
takes
about
over.
this.
It's so awesome. It's great to watch. I'm trying to give her all the tools and let her make her own decisions in life.
Absolutely. So you started Snap Lending.
Yeah.
Tell us what inspired you and how did you guys go about making this Snap Lending business?
My business partner had a number of rental properties, and one of the tenants came to him and asked if he would owner finance them in the property. And a light bulb went off for him. He had never done that. He was always thinking that owning properties and getting rent checks was...
Why don't you explain, I know we all should know,
Sure.
what is owner financing? What does it really mean?
So owner finance, well, there's 2 ways to look at it. Owner financing, people think is like the actual owner of the home is financing, and that is correct, owner finance, right? What we technically do is we finance an individual who is qualified financially, but because of some marks or negative merits on their credit report or what have you, they cannot go get a loan. And I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
Some people like that we run into, if you had a family member or somebody in your family who's got some sort of medical issue pop up, cancer, etc., you're going to go and spend a lot of money to go and get this corrected, right, or taken care of. Or you're going to have a ton of negatives show up on your credit report because you can't pay for it. I mean, some of the fees from these hospitals are very high. So what we do is we look at each individual as the individual. And I understand in 2008 there was a big, dip because of, over lending to anyone. I mean, but what we do is we understand the individual, know the process, where's the income coming from. We vet the entire deal as an individual. I meet every client. I sit with them, I discuss with them, and I want them to feel comfortable and understand the whole process. And then what we do is once everybody's agreed, we move forward and get them the home that they want. And a realtor goes with them, finds them the home, such as yourself and whoever. Once they find the home, I mean, they've already got a pre-approval from us. You guys are ready to close, and we're ready to fund. We don't have a growth. We don't have a target. We have a great team. And shouts out to Cynthia and Paula. They're our bosses.
Yeah.
And just like right, as a business owner, you work for your employees, and so
Correct.
that's where we are.
So you hustle every day. Other thing what you say is your network is your net worth.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? And your phone, I'm sure it's worth billions of dollars of all the connections you have over there. And that's what it leads to. You can be enterprising, you can have great skill sets, great business model, but unless you are able to communicate effectively, talk about your value proposition, people are not going to call you. So that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I know you have a lot of businesses, but Snap Lending is the main one. If someone wants to call you, reach out to you, whether you're a lender or a realtor or a developer, how would they call you? Would you mind sharing a cell phone number?
Sure, 281-915-9595. Bad credit, no credit, stated income, bankruptcy, divorce, ITIN, we handle everything. Give us a call. 281-915-9595.
You speak too fast. Come on, one more time.
281-915-9595. Call us today.
I like that song. Guys, that was Jeff Ali, rock star of a person, enterprising. Even if you don't have any lending needs, sit down with him. Have a cup of coffee or have a cup of chai with him. This guy is a wealth of knowledge. And what I got inspired today, before I got on the show, was his true story of where he came from, where he's at. And when you get inspired, guess what happens? You get fired up and you get better results in your day-to-day activity. So, Jeff, awesome having you today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for making
time. I also
time.
want to say congratulations to EXP's new regional manager. Is that correct?
Well, early on this week, I got the opportunity to be the regional vice president of my brokerage. So it's a growth path, and I'm excited about that as well.
So I'll be back in another week or two to interview Mr. Kunal on Jeff with Koffee and Kunal.
Yeah.
So congratulations, man.
I'll stay tuned for that.
To you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you so much for having us.
6 days a week, 12-hour shifts.
You can always do something right, even if it's going wrong.
Is this what you want to do, or is there something else you would like to do?
Get a mentor. We live a life of abundance.